I'm Bob. I like coffee. I also like to tell stories. So here at the Bobcast Coffee, it's time for a coffee break. So take a coffee break with me and pour yourself a cup of your favorite Joe. By the time you're done with your coffee, you'll know something about me you really didn't need to know. But you'll have fun learning it. Just remember, my stories are true. For the most part. Here we go. We've got one of these little bit different podcasts that we're going to do. Hopefully this will end up being a 3-part series of the trip for Tommy's graduation and how we got there. Not always an easy thing. First thing you need to do, grab you a cup of coffee because you're going to need it for this one. Hopefully a little bit warmer than this is today. I'm not sure how good this is going to show up, but this is one of the mugs that we got from our trip. And we'll talk about that in a minute. All right, so what made this trip special? Well, our oldest Tommy is a doctor now. Yes, I can be proud and brag. But how he got there was an enormous undertaking. Tommy has been on this trek for years and years. And you cannot believe how proud and excited I've gotten for this journey and to see it come to an end. I'm sure he's happy too about it. So this is going to be, I think this is going to be episode 73, 74, and 75. So let's start with the first one, and I hope I am even close to being right. So let's start off. Back in May of 25 now, Linda and I took off on a short one-day drive out into Texas to go meet up with Tommy and family. And of course we had to make our obligatory stop over at In-N-Out Hamburger in Texas. It's the closest one we have. And we had our standard fare of wonderful In-N-Out hamburgers. After that, we made it all the way down and got to spend one night with Tommy and Steph there at the house with the kids before we packed everything up. And actually, I think it was 2 nights, but we packed everything up and went and got on my first flight with Spirit Airlines. If you haven't figured out throughout all the podcasts, I'm a little claustrophobic and I do not like flying. I like what flying does for us, getting us from point A to point B quite quickly. I don't like it. And Spirit Airline was the most cost-effective way to get us to where we needed to be. It proved to be quite challenging. There are some certain videos. It's taken me a long time to get this video to even get started. I took pretty close to 1,000 pictures on this trip, so I could put together a really good story for the podcast. I have somehow erased 90% of them. They're gone. I have no idea what happened, but I cannot find them. And of course,
a year from now, I'm going to open up a file that has nothing to do with anything, and there they're all going to be. But right now, can't find them. So I've grabbed everything I could from Stephanie and from Linda and what I could scrape and find of mine, and we're gonna put this together. But it has been quite challenging just to get to this point. So we're on Spirit Airline, and if you've never flown from South Texas, which is quite humid, when they cranked on that internal AC and started taxing, the mist rolls into the airplane. Now, it's not just Spirit Airlines that does this, but if you're just a little, redneck boy who has all sorts of fears, and you're sitting there breathing it out and trying to remain calm, and all of a sudden the cabin starts filling with smoke. Yeah, I know it's just a mist. It's just the humidity coming in with the AC and all. Brain understands. My heart and the rest of my body reacts like we're about to burn to death. But that's okay. I just closed my eyes and we just made it through this. And of course, as soon as the plane takes off, it clears up and life is good. And if you're any kind of a flyer, you'll be laughing at the fact that, first time, 62 years old, total panic. Great. We get into, we fly into Detroit. Right. Now, our goal is to watch Tommy graduate in Lansing. That is South Lansing. It is the university. Don't say it wrong. Lansing. Flying into Lansing. And it's Michigan State University. And don't ever mix those up, because Michigan State and Michigan have just as big a rivalry as any other, OU and OSU and any other state that has, similar sounding. The rivalries get big. But we fly in and we get in there at night, and of course the first thing we do, because we're only just about a rock throw in comparison to Michigan State, and then of course we drive the opposite direction. We deep into I shouldn't say we, Tommy drove. Another outstanding feature Tommy did for us on this trip was he did all the driving, and it was impressive because we're talking long days here. So we drive all the way over to the Creation Museum, and we have a hotel room that night, and we get up the next morning and we drive over to the Creation Museum. I wasn't actually really sure what we were about to get ourselves into. I knew very little. My wife knew a lot about it. Linda knows a lot about it. It appeared Tommy and Steph knew more about it. Bob just, I'm just Bob doing Bob thing. I'm just get in the car, I'll go. I was really blown away at how well they have put together the biblical history of our world. It is amazing. It pulls together everything and makes the logical biblical argument, and it was everything I've ever wanted to be able to say, but I'm the Bob, I don't have the words for that argument. Apologetics was never my strong suit. This place is the strong suit. had a wonderful time. They had shows. They had you know really cool place to sit down and eat in the middle of the cafe. But the whole building is just built on dioramas and don't have the right words. The whole thing is built around dioramas and following step by step the history of mankind. And it was really cool being with the grandkids and watching them read and understand and question what was being presented was fabulous. One thing my wife is very good at is that educational, that nurturing of education. And she was very good at walking through with the kids and helping them understand and read the words. It was a lot of fun. So we spent the entire day there. It was it's a big place and absolutely well worth your time to go see. So we get done. We get back to the car and we go and stay in our first house that we stayed in. We stayed in a few houses as we went through the Stephanie. Stephanie is fabulous at finding interesting and unique places. We stayed in a what do they call these? Airbnbs, and it's just a house in a neighborhood. And had a carport attached to the side of the house. And we sat out and watched the rain and the lightning come through that night. It was a lot of fun. And just not having the rest of the world all shoved in door to door like a hotel. Hotels are fine. I like traveling with them. But being in these houses and cabins that we stayed at along the way was really cool. So we spent the night there at this house, and we shot over the next day. We drove. Where we stayed that night was real close to the Ark experience. Another really fabulous. If you're going to do one, they're not that far apart. And it's easy to do both of them in like a 2-day or a long weekend, that sort of thing. The Ark experience is very impressive. For those that question whether the Ark is just a story or factual, they laid out once again an amazing argument on the truth of the Ark. It could be done. This is how it could be done. These are ways it could be done. They were very, very open about what is biblically stated for an ark or for the Ark story and what is not, and where they just put a little of their thoughts, right? How to handle waste on a ark that big. They figured it out, how to move air in and out of an ark to keep airflow in the lower levels of the ark. They figured it out. Actual ways that could be done. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. And the sheer size of it. If anything, that is the most impressive thing, is to stand back and just look at the size of this boat. And I'm not even sure you can call it a boat. No rudder, no steering, no sails, just floats. So that was pretty cool. The interior of the Ark, they only had 3 levels that were built. Really, only 3 levels. Huge undertaking. Huge undertaking. 3 levels of display, and it was really pretty cool. The Ark, of course, much taller than just 3 levels, but it was very impressive. They had a small theater up front where they were showing films, and just the feel of it. And one of the most impressive things, several of us felt this way, was when you're going through the Ark, you do walk past the doors. So, you always see, people's rendition of the Ark and the big doors where the animals are coming in. But when you're standing on the inside of the Ark, up against the doors, that's very impressive. Huge. And they need to be watertight. So, it was a lot of fun. Now, after we got finished touring the Ark and seeing all the exhibits, there's still more to do there. We had, only a slightly over-expensive meal, just like any theme park, dining. We had a good time just sitting out there behind the bow of I forget if it was the bow or the stern. I think it was the stern of the Ark, and having a meal together. And then we went down. They have a zoo, not like a normal zoo. They actually have paths that you can walk in and out of, and it's nothing. I mean, you're not fighting crocodiles. I mean, just animals that you'd be okay going around in. But they also had camel rides, and of course our kids, the grandkids, had got to be on a camel, and that looked like a lot of fun. Actually, I'm kind of disappointed that I didn't do it myself. It looked like fun. So, taking camel rides, walking around the outside and the inside of the Ark. They had a merry-go-round set up at the front. When you first showed up in that whole front, section, it's not just a gift shop. There is a concert hall that they showed movies and had concerts and all sorts of stuff. And then we got back on the bus, headed back to the parking lot. Fabulous, fabulous time. After that, we went to a little cabin out in the woods, and at least that was the real feel of it. And we spent the night there and headed off the next day to go to the back to Michigan and get ready for the graduation. But that's where we're going to stop here today. We will put this together, give you a really good look at Tommy's graduation and just how huge of an ordeal this is. We'll talk about it next time. Until then, the cup. This cup here, see if I can get you a good reflection of it, it looks like waters and waves down here, and in a soft relief right up here is the Ark. And so it's just a picture of the Ark floating on the water. So this is one of the cups that we got on our trip. I will tell you that we were very picky about which cups we get. If you've seen pictures of our coffee collection, you'll know we're running out of room. So, perfect for holding coffee. I hope you really get a chance to go down and do the Creation Museum and do the Ark encounter. People have put a lot of work, a lot of time into these, and it's well worth your time. So, part A, done. Catch up with you on the next one.